the management of EEFG Travels Limited, which is a tours and travels company, has required that the auditor obtains the understanding of the company's control environment. The auditor has to evaluate whether the management has created and maintained the culture of honesty and ethical behavior within the organization. Has he maintained the culture of honesty and ethical behavior among the employees, among the people? And further, the strength of the control environment elements collectively provide an appropriate foundation to the other components of the internal control, which is nothing but the control activity, risk assessment procedure, okay, and monitoring of controls. So, information system and business processes for financial reporting. So, the control environment acts as a foundation for these elements or components of the internal control. So, now what is included in the control environment and what are the elements of the control environment? That is what we have to understand. First of all, the auditor should obtain an understanding of the control environment. So, auditor, what he should do as a part of his understanding, he should evaluate whether management has created and maintained a culture of honesty and the ethical behavior. That is the thing actually here. The strength of the control environment elements collectively provides foundation for other components of internal control. It acts as a foundation for other components of internal control. Control environment includes what? It includes, like say, governance and management function, attitude, awareness, action of those charged with governance and management. The control environment sets the tone of the organization, influencing the control consciousness of the people. So it affects the control consciousness of the people. So further, the elements of control environment basically are required actually here for proper understanding. So communication, so for what purpose it is required? Like say communication and enforcement of integrity and ethical values. So the effectiveness of the control cannot rise above the integrity and the ethical values of the people who create, administer and monitor the integrity of them actually, of the internal control. Basically what happens, the effectiveness of the control cannot rise above the integrity and ethical value of the people who create the controls, who administer the controls, who monitor the controls. Integrity and ethical behavior are the product of the entity's ethical and behavioral standards. Further, how they are communicated, how these ethical and behavioral standards are communicated, in what way they are communicated actually here, and how they are reinforced in practice. The enforcement of integrity and ethical values includes, take example of like say management action to eliminate the incentives or temptation that might prompt a personnel to engage in dishonest act, illegal act, like say unethical act. So whether some kind of action the management is taking, whether management is mitigating any incentives, are they eliminating incentives to the staff or employee personnel who is engaging in any dishonest act. The communication of the entity's policies on integrity, ethical values can include communication on the behavioral standards or to the personnel through policy statements and code of conduct. So by code of conduct and by policy statement, it can be highlighted here. Then further what you have, my dear soldiers, you have commitment to competence. That's the thing here. Commitment to competence matters such as management's consideration of competence level for a particular job and how those levels translate into requisite skill and knowledge. That's the thing here. It also includes attributes by those charged with governance such as the independence from the management, experience, stature and their involvement, the information they receive and the scrutiny of the activity. Further, what is the management philosophy and operating style? Even that also should be highlighted here. So that's management attitude and action towards the financial reporting should be considered. What approach is taken by the management in selecting the accounting policies? What approach they are following actually here in relation to developing an accounting estimates? The matters such as the management of say related to any managing of business risk, management attitude towards the information processing, accounting function. Okay, these are all reflect the management operating and the philosophical style actually here. That's the thing here. Further, you have to look into the organization structure, the framework within which the entity's activities for achieving the objectives are planned, executed, controlled, and reviewed. So you have to establish a relevant organizational structure that includes the key area of authority and the responsibility and the appropriate lines of reporting. The appropriateness of the entity's organizational structure depends in the size and the nature of the entity. So it depends upon the size and nature of entity. Further, assignment of authority and responsibility, like say matters such as how authority and responsibility for operating activities are assigned and how reporting relationship and authorization hierarchies are established. That's the thing here. Okay. Further, the human resource policies and practices. That's the thing here. So when we say human resource policies and practices, what happens actually here? So the policies and practice basically they relate to, like say, recruitment, orientation, training, evaluation, counseling, promotion, compensation, remedial action. So the human resource policies, what are the human resource policies related to? That's what recruitment, orientation, training, promotion, compensation. So what are the practices the HR policies follows actually here? They are in relation which affects the control consciousness of the entity. So control environment basically it acts as a strong foundation for other components of the internal control. Okay, that is why they are quite important. Okay, so fine. I'll see you in the next video.